Here are our highlights of sport sailing in the last 7 days, from all around the world. The pandemic and sponsorship changes has had the Volvo race reduced from around the world to coastal Europe this year, and back to its original format in 2022-23. To boost the interest, the foiling Vendee Globe, IMOCA 60 boats have been included to the VO65 fleet. It's interesting to see the differences in the yachts so far in this race. As it's in the Med, in light winds, the VO65s are winning, but in big winds, at sea, the difference may go the other way. In this week's show, as the ocean race fleets get close to the finish, we have 2 in-depth reports on the last 36 hours. Full marks to the ocean race for the opening drone footage. It shows sailing in a spectacular way. As the Olympics get closer, and the final selection regattas have been held, we have the medal races from the Medemblik Allianz Regatta, in the Netherlands. In Lorient, the Gitana sailing team have announced that the Gypsy is back in the water. So be watching for their huge ultim trimaran, Edmund de Rothschild. As we've said before, it's a beautiful weapon. UK Vendee sailor, Pip Hare, is on the IMOCA 60, Bureau Valley, and she has her camera with her. Here's what she sent back. Drama at the submarine base in Lorient, where Thomas Coville has his huge Sodebo trimaran. Fire and the local services are called out. Now back to the Ocean Race Europe Leg 3 Day 3 as the boats are passing Mallorca. The crews competing in the Ocean Race Europe have spent a second restless night out on the Mediterranean, searching for wind to help them along the race's third and final leg from Alicante, Spain to Genoa, Italy. Racing in 2 classes, 7 identical 1 design VO65s and 5 development rule, IMOCA 60s, the crews representing 9 countries, made a fast exit from Alicante last Sunday afternoon, in 15-knot winds, and under clear skies.
Just woken up on Tuesday morning, and we could see their nav lights when I was on watch, and look who's just behind us. So this is the coast of Mallorca here, and all of the foiling IMOCAs have clumped back together. Offshore Team Germany went to the north of the Lambriex, which was kind of like a punchy move, and looks like it may have paid off for them. They're looking good. We're all battling it out on the south side though, and some very close racing, complete shutdowns, and then at one stage we were doing 16 knots upwind, and now we've got this, which is great. Let's see where it goes.
Never planned that we switch from the other IMOCAs, but our routings were all northerly of the Balears. So when we started into the race, for us it was crystal clear that we will go north, hit the coastline again, as some of the others did as well, but then somehow we find a lane where we were lifted brutally onto the fleet, and within, I would say, 5 hours the separation was so big. So it was never our plan to split, but there was a chance which opened, and we took it, and now it's 2 different races. 4 of the IMOCAs are south of the Balears. They are sailing their race, and we have to sail our race.
Yeah, for sure. These last days, and especially today, I think it's been quite tropical on board. So really warm. On deck, it's kind of okay, but inside the boat, it's really warm. So hard to get any sleep.
Since leaving Alicante, both classes have made stop-start progress due to patchy winds and large glassy areas of total flat calm littering the route to Genoa. The VO65 class has made the best collective progress so far, having made it past the Spanish islands of Mallorca and Menorca overnight.
We had a few issues at the end of the night. One of the sails fell down in the water because we had an issue with a hook at the top of the mast. So that was an interesting moment where we all had to put back the sail on the boat and repair the sail, because there was a small hole because the sail fell on the foil, and with the strength of the water it was a bit torn apart, but now it's okay.
In the last 24 hours, the leading pair, Sailing Team Poland, skippered by Bouwe Bekkering, with Axel Magdal as navigator, and Mercury Foundation Racing Team led by Johan Richem with Nico navigating, have benefited from being first into the new breeze.
We are going 0.2 knots of boat speed over the water and 1.8 knots of speed over the ground, basically flying. And we have around 2.5 knots of wind. We have Mexicans behind, we have Austrians on the right, and we have Axel Nobel just a bit in front and higher to us. Everyone is looking for every bit of speed they can find. The water looks a bit darker in front, but then when you come there is nothing.
So we're just halfway through the leg, and I think we had a nice split in the fleet. I think we were the only boat going over the island of Mallorca, and the other ones went underneath. So as it is now, Poland and Mercury are ahead of us, ahead and underneath. We can't see them. The other pack, the other 4 boats are almost 90 degrees underneath us. It looks like approximately like 10 miles, so they're out of sight as well. As it looks now, we're sailing all the way, everybody's sailing east, and looks like we're sailing into a low pressure area again, where it's going to be tricky. So everybody's sailing there with the sprint, going there as fast as possible, and then we have to see what's happening, and looks like maybe a tack getting close to the shore again.
Meanwhile, there was relief aboard the Dutch flag Team Childhood 1, skippered by 2-time around-the-world racer Simeon Team Pont. The crew had bet everything on an alternative northern passage past the Balearic Islands, but yesterday had struggled to find any meaningful wind along the northwest coast of Mallorca. "We're about halfway through the leg and we've had a nice split in the fleet," said Lars van Stekelenborg, from the foredeck of the Team Childhood boat today. "We were the only boat going over Mallorca, so as it is right now, Poland and Mercury are slightly ahead of us, and to leeward. We can't see them. The other pack is about 90 degrees off, and about 10 miles from us, so we can't see them either. We're all sailing east and into a tricky area again, as fast as we can, and then we'll have to see what happens when we get there." In the IMOCA 60 class, the northern route taken by Robert Stanjek's non-foiling Offshore Team Germany has continued to pay dividends. "We never planned to split from the other IMOCAs," said Stanjek. "But all of our weather routings were all north of the Balearics."
Feels great. It was a very nice regatta. It was pretty close with some French teams and the Germans up until the end, so it was really good racing and very happy with the win.
Well, we had a little incident at the start, but that was in our favor, so that was good. So we still did what we wanted to do, and then from that on we tried to stay ahead of the guys that came closer and closer, but so that we managed to do that, and that was all fine. So really happy with the result.
We're gonna do 2 weeks of training at home, and then we'll have some weeks off, and then we'll fly out to Japan.
It's very nice, yeah, especially back home here in Medemblik. So many people out here to support us and cheer for us, so we're very happy.
Some family and friends, yeah, super good.
Yeah, a very exciting medal race. So it was light breeze onshore, but still very unstable. So big pressure difference on the race course. So also
big shifting in the ranking. So we were very happy to come away with a good result.
It's a nice fleet. It was a younger fleet, so a bit different. We didn't really know all of them, but it was fun. People had different strengths, and they surprised us at times, so that was really good. And the conditions have been quite tricky with a lot of shifts and different pressures. So it wasn't boring.
Yeah, so we have a few days off, and then from next week we're going to train in Scheveningen. So that we have a bit more waves there, and we do a final training camp before we head to Japan in July.
L'équipage Maxi Edmond dans le Chine qu'on s'est lancé pour une nouvelle tentative du record du trophée Jules Verne. Johan, il est pas là.
La formation Bac Pro MDS, études de la sécurité du lycée Saint-Joseph de Lorient, devait se faire à l'école nationale des officiers sapeurs-pompiers à Marseille, mais ça a été annulé par cause Covid. Et donc j'avais demandé à Sodebo s'ils étaient intéressés pour des coups qu'on manœuvre chez eux.
Accès par la porte orange là, il y a une porte juste à côté du local poubelle. D'accord. Qui s'ouvre de l'intérieur. Ok, par le côté là, c'est l'accès plus rapide. Okay.
Le scénario, ce serait un petit feu dans la partie hangar, donc construction du bateau, avec une propagation des fumées de cet incendie dans la partie administrative, avec donc personnel manquant, donc 2 personnels manquants qu'on devait retrouver.
Donc vous n'avez pas trouvé le foyer, vous avez trouvé la victime. Oui, ça marche. Donc vous retournez au fourgon, vous allez vous changer d'aérie et vous engagez l'autre batte pour poursuivre la mission.
L'éducation ou la transmission ou l'envie de donner sa chance et de pouvoir aider et contribuer à ce que les jeunes construisent leur monde de demain, notre monde à nous. C'est cette passation entre générations. C'est exactement vraiment la culture et l'ADN Sodebo. Et là, c'est très cohérent, très très cohérent. D'être au service des pompiers, ça rend humble aussi. Hein.
It's a tense time for the sailors in the Ocean Race Europe, as they close in on the finish line with final hurdles ahead. Another 24 hours of light wind racing out on the Mediterranean on the third and final leg of the Ocean Race Europe.
We managed to get away from Mallorca and Minorca with the Polish, although they were leading by 10 miles, and we managed to pull away from the rest of the fleet by almost another 20 miles. So that's good, and we came to this transition zone here in the middle of the Mediterranean, and the Polish did 3 tacks and came out of it and sailed 10 knots away from us. And we stayed stuck in there for probably 4 hours while the rest of the fleet was coming back onto us. And now we can see them behind us. So not a good day, but luck will turn, and it's still a long leg to Genoa.
There has been compression in the 5-boat IMOCA 60 class with the trailing group of 4 foilers, 11th Hour Racing Team, LinkedOut, Bureau Valley, Coram Elepan, all starting to make better progress in New Breeze, and eating considerably into the leg-long lead established by the non-foiling Offshore Team Germany skippered by Robert Stanjek. At 0000 UTC this morning, Stanjek and his crew were 97 nautical miles ahead of the pack.
We just passed here and on our way to Saint-Tropez, playing the coastline a little bit. We got some favorite left breeze, so we're quite happy, I think, at the moment. Yeah, but still a long way to go, still 114 miles to go, so we're not in Genoa yet, but we're happy. Happy people from the childhood one.
It's a tense time for the sailors in the Ocean Race Europe, as they close in on the finish line with final hurdles ahead. Another 24 hours of light wind racing out on the Mediterranean on the third and final leg of the Ocean Race Europe has seen both the VO 65 and IMOCA 60 fleets compress significantly as they push towards the finish line in Genoa, Italy.
Yeah, so we are heading up to the French coastline. We've got Mercury 7 or 8 miles to windward of us. We've got the Austrian team about 2 or 3 miles behind us as well. And we're just trying to work out the best way to get upwind to Genoa now. We've got a bit of tacking coming up. Wind's pretty good at the moment, more than we expected, so glad to be making the most of that. And but from now it's still probably 24 hours to the finish at least, so still a lot to fight for. We've got Poland, who they were 22, 23 miles ahead of us last night. Now they're down to 17, so we'll see kind of how the opportunities come up, but there's still a whole load of snakes and ladders to play before we get to the finish.
The models don't give us a clear picture of what's going to happen, so we're sailing along the French coast at the moment, which is about 10 miles to leeward. We can't see it. We know down there is Cannes and Monaco and Champagne and Caviar. Here we're still on freeze-dried and salty water, but that's okay.
At the moment it looks like in front of Genoa it's going to compress again because there's a light patch. So yeah, we might see a finish like in Kasuske. So it's going to be pretty tight all the way to the finish.
We are currently making our way here to the coast. There should be some more breeze, and then from here on we'll make one more tack or a couple of tacks out into the breeze here, and then make our final approach to Genoa.
We're trying to push hard for sure, but it's just very tricky here, this coastline. So, but overall I'm very happy. We're still sailing on a big lead here over the rest of the fleet. So yeah, I think we just have to sail our race and bring it home safe. Very happy so far with this leg. We have to stay focused and awake. It's not given.
I mean, they still have to catch us. They have to sail through all the breeze that we went through. So that will slow them down. And we have to find a way to extend to the front. Maybe catch up with the other fleet. I really hope we can make it. I'm very optimistic.
There has been compression in the 5-boat IMOCA 60 class with the trailing group of 4 foilers, 11th Hour Racing Team, LinkedOut, Bureau Valley, Coram Elepan, all starting to make better progress in New Breeze.
Well, we're sailing these ocean-going machines inside the Mediterranean Sea, so it's very complicated. There's not a lot of wind. They don't go well and not a lot of wind. So you got to squeeze every ounce of performance out of them. or you may never get started again if you stop. And we've done more maneuvers in this leg probably than we have in the rest of the race combined already, so it's really tricky and you gotta stay on your game.
This afternoon at 1300 UTC, that lead had nearly been halved to 58 nautical miles as the 11th hour racing team leads a charge from the foilers in new breeze that has seen the yachts accelerate to consistent double-digit speeds for the first time in 48 hours. The Polish-flagged yacht skippered by Dutch serial around-the-world racer Bouwe Bekkering has led the VO65 class for the majority of this third leg from Alicante, Spain, and at one point was 27 nautical miles ahead of the pack. Since yesterday, that advantage has been pegged back to under 5 nautical miles. With under 60 nautical miles still to race to Genoa, just 26 nautical miles separated the VO65 leader sailing Team Poland from 7th place the Austrian Ocean Race Project. The Polish team's nearest rivals, Childhood I skippered by Simeon Team Pont, and the Johan Richem skippered Mercury Foundation Ocean Racing, are respectively 4 and 6 nautical miles behind and ready to pounce on any mistake. But with the chances high of a breeze shutdown tonight on the approach to Genoa, at this stage none of the chasing fleet can be ruled out of a Leg 3 podium position. So we'll see kind of how the opportunities come up. But still a whole load of snakes and ladders to play before we get to finish.